Hawaii now. I didn't think he was leaving until next week.
Okay, would like to start the Livingston County Board Thursday night, December 17th meeting to order, please. Just a reminder to silence your phones if you would. We'll have the invocation by our... What? Okay. We'll have the invocation by our very own Ginger Harris.
Invocation, everybody.
Yeah.
If you will pray with me, please. Holy God, the glory is all yours for the successful things that happen through this board, individually for these members, as well as collectively and unified as a board. We ask that you fill this room with your presence, that your spirit may touch the hearts of each one of these people. Guide them in the direction that you wish to see this county go. Lord, we also ask that you rest your loving hands upon those who have suffered due to this pandemic. Be with our healthcare providers. Be with the hospitals. Be with the families that have been touched by this pandemic. You are the great physician, and we know that there is healing that you will send. And finally, Father, we ask that you lead us home safely so that we may return again, unified as a board. In your Son's name we serve and we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ginger. Now, roll call, or I'm sorry, Pledge of Allegiance led by Ron Kestner. Okay, now we'll have roll call, please. Christy?
Vietti. Here. Bunning.
Present.
Kirkton.
Present.
Manker. Here. Barrickman.
Present.
Slagle.
Here.
Fannin.
Present.
Steichen. Here. Schaefer. Here. Menninga.
Present.
Kestner. Here. Welch.
Present.
Arbogast.
Present.
Weller.
Present.
Ritter. Carley.
Present.
Lovell.
Here.
Ambrose. Here. Mays.
Here.
Ehring.
Here.
Bitstam.
Here.
Blackard. Here. Wilkie.
Present.
Runyon.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Next, approval of agenda. I need a motion for approval.
Motion by Fannin to approve the agenda.
Second by Runyon.
Right. Roll call, please.
Vietti.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker. Yes. Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle. Yes. Fannin.
Yep.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Yes. Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner. Yes. Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ritter. Carley.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Ehring.
Yes.
Bitstam.
Yes.
Blackard. Yes. Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Okay, now we're down to approval of the minutes. We have 3 sets, September 17th, November 12th, and December 7th. Need a motion for approval on the minutes. So moved by Weller?
Second by Aaron.
Second by Earing. Okay. Roll call, please. Oops.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ritter. Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Okay, now we move down to presentations. The COVID-19 status update by our very own Public Health Administrator, Jackie Deaver.
Good evening. Just start out giving you a little bit of good news because it seems we don't get a lot of that. The last time I was here in November, our positivity rates were quite high, up in the 17s. They've dropped down into 8.2 was our last that we got this week. So that's a vast improvement. Our active cases are down to 167 today, and at one point they were up in the 300s. So again, that's good news. Unfortunately, our deaths are up to 50. Our total cases are at 2,841 as of today. The other good news is that we've gotten a lot of testing going on. We've got the rapid test, or the site out at the hospital that OSF and the health department are running together. And we're doing about 50 tests a day out there, so that's running very smoothly. The other thing, we have started doing our rapid tests, and we are sharing those with our long-term care facilities that have not been able to get them. We have 3 schools that are currently doing it or will be doing it when they come back in January. The prison is now doing testing on a regular basis, and we've given rapid tests also to our jail. So we've got lots of testing out there. The next thing on the horizon, of course, is the vaccine, and we should be getting that next week. We don't know any of the details at this point. I just heard before I came in here that Moderna has gotten the pre-approval from FDA, so that is coming along probably this weekend. We should be getting all that information. They're looking to ship that out first of next week, but again, we don't know how much we'll be getting. All of the vaccine we get the very first week has to go out to the hospital. That's one of the requirements from the feds, that everything be given there. So we have that already planned with OSF. We've got that in the works. We have law enforcement ready to go whenever the vaccine is available for us to pick up. So I would be glad to take any questions.
I got a request.
Bob? Oh, sorry, Marty?
Me first?
Yep.
Jackie, are you allowed to share with us which schools, or is that against HIPAA, or?
No, that's fine. Woodland School, Pontiac 429, our school-based health center, of course. So those are the ones currently doing it. Our 429 is actually going to be starting in January when they come back to school.
Is that 3 schools?
429 has 4 schools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That, because you said 3 schools.
Well, districts. I'm sorry, 3 districts.
Okay.
So the Pontiac High School District, Pontiac Grade School District, and then Woodland District.
Okay, thank you.
Dwight too, right?
Not currently.
Okay.
Unless they're doing it on their own, and that's a possibility I don't know of. I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, I was looking for, on the website, I was looking for the number of deaths in Livingston County. I know the average for the past few years, and I was just curious as where that stands as an overall number.
The deaths in the county?
Total deaths, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Where can I find that?
That would be in the death certificate information. Is that?
We might be able to
Christie's,
come up with it. Are you wanting just the number of deaths in a year, or, okay.
Yep, just how many deaths?
Marty, can you use your microphone, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
any other questions?
Any other questions for Jackie?
Yeah,
Jackie, how's the organization?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. How many do we have in the hospital?
How many vaccines are we going to give?
How many people are in the
How
house?
many do
Oh,
Hospitalized.
the ICU beds are full. They have 5 ICU beds, and I believe they are at about 50% capacity for their other beds when I talked to them yesterday. And they do have a surge plan available if they need more ICU beds.
Is that remaining consistent, or is that starting to go down also?
It's staying pretty consistent right at the moment. They actually had a little bit higher numbers for a little bit while, so I think their general beds are coming down. Their ICU beds have been full for quite some time.
Okay, Mark?
yeah, I just wanted to ask if you have an estimate, I know you don't know exactly, but do you have an estimate of when the vaccines would be available for the general public? I mean, I know you're starting with hospitals and nursing homes and first responders, but as far as the general public, do you have any possible timeline on when they'd be available for the general public?
We have heard a lot of different dates, but right now they're really estimating that it's going to take at least a month to get through phase 1A. And so that's only hospital, long-term cares, and EMS. And once that gets done, which, you know, here it could roll out faster than that. It honestly depends on how much vaccine we get. And we don't know even at this point what we're getting the first week. Most of the areas that got some yesterday, we're getting in anywhere from 50 to 100. So we're not going to get a lot to begin with. It's going to take a little while to start rolling out, and then it's supposed to pick up pretty quickly.
And then do you have any concern, because I know that this first Pfizer and I believe even Moderna is a 2-shot things. Is there any concern on yours that they'll get the first shot and then you won't have the vaccine for the second, for them to get
There will be vaccine for the second shot. That's already planned out. They have reserved that back so that will be available for the second round. So whatever came out the first round, they saved enough for the second round.
Thank you.
Okay, Gina, do you have a question?
She's muted.
You're next.
She's muted, Kathy.
You're muted, Gina.
I can't hear you, Gina.
There.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was just wondering if there has been any problems with compliance of the mandates for restaurants and bars in our county.
Has there been any problems?
Yes, have we had to issue any fines or?
There have not been any fines issued, but there have been some letters sent.
Okay.
And some discussions between law enforcement and those restaurants.
Okay, thank you.
Bob?
Am I to understand it correctly that locally, we've got 5 ICU beds, but then when the comment was made of the non-ICU beds, the 50% figure, does that mean that 50% of the non-ICU beds are COVID patients?
No. It's just those are full.
They've got 50% just general
Capacity
regular
in general, yes.
of their regular beds.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jackie?
I guess you could probably put this in the, maybe not the proper question, but did you have the opportunity on which vaccines you would prefer, or it was just first come, first serve, and we're low enough in of when we're going to receive it because of the death rate, correct? Did they not put that on the death rate of the county?
That is correct. So that's how it rolled out with the first week, and then the second week that will come next week will be, of course, our first week. We have no choice in what vaccine we are given. Once Moderna comes on, it will probably be the smaller agencies like ours will get the Moderna because that will be direct shipped. The Pfizer vaccine, they will have to continue to break down, and they would prefer to give that to the larger companies where they can ship the entire box and not have to break it apart. So that's kind of what the thought is. Not sure if that will exactly happen. And again, it's going to depend on how much vaccine is available.
And there are proper storage concerns on both of them vaccines, correct? What, as you talked like back in the summertime, wasn't it about one had to be so cold or something to?
Yeah, the Pfizer vaccine has to be in an ultra cold, or you have to be able to distribute it within 5 days, which is what will happen with us.
So.
And that is already in the plans, and we know how we're going to do that.
Super. Thanks, Jackie.
Gerald?
I'd just like to say thanks for everything you've done. You've walked into probably the worst part of this disaster by being a new person there.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Appreciate that.
She's done a great job. Her whole staff has, and pretty tiresome too, and stressful. So thank you very much for all your hard work. Okay, now we will move down to consent agenda, the approval of bills and appointments. William Skonetsky of the Cornell Fire Protection District, May 2018 through May 2021. James Snyder, Cornell Fire Protection District, May 2019 to May 2022. Ronald Helander, Cornell Fire Protection District, May 2020 through May 2023. John Folkerts, Flanagan Graymont Fire Protection District, and Keith Detweiler, Flanagan Graymont Fire Protection District. I need a motion, please.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Fannin.
Need a second?
Second by Welch.
Second by Welch. Okay, I need a roll call, please.
Fieri. Yes. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes, yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Okay, I am going to switch here, if Mr. Lovell does not mind. I would like to move Ag and Zoning up next, and then Highway after, just so the people in the back can clear out if they would like to leave. So we'll pass this on to you, Jason.
We met last night at 6 p.m. Ag and Zoning Committee got together. We had 5 present, 2 absent. We've got 3 action items to bring before you. The first action item we discussed tonight, if you read your emails today, it's the one pertaining to the Dollar General store. The guests that Madam Chair refers to are concerning this. At last night's Ag and Zoning Committee meeting, we were deadlocked, so we are not bringing this forward to the board with a recommendation, but is the review of the zoning map case ZM4-20, a request to change the zoning classification on the subject property from an agricultural district to a C2 central business district pertaining to a proposed Dollar General store near Sonneman. Chuck, if you can make your way to the microphone, we will give the full board our presentation.
Okay. What you specifically have before you is a zoning map amendment case where they're seeking to change the zoning on the property from its AG agricultural district classification to a C2 central business district classification. So this is a map amendment that's being specifically proposed to locate a Dollar General store to be developed in the Sonneman area. So once you change the zoning to commercial, it can be any commercial business within that classification can go there, but we're specifically talking about Dollar General because they're the one proposing to move forward with it this evening, or with this case. This particular property, the entrance is going to be developed approximately 700 feet to the west of the Route 47 and Route 116 intersection. It'll be located on the north side of Route 116. So this will be to the west of Sonneman, to the west of the gas station and convenience store that's also in Sonneman. The report that I gave you by email, it contained the maps of the location, gave the site plan for the property. It will be a self-contained site, and they'll have the building developed on it. They'll have their own water system with a well on the property, and a septic system for the private sewage system will be also located on the property. Part of the discussion at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting had to deal with the parking spaces. Part of the business plan for Dollar General is to have approximately 30 parking spaces for this facility, this size, and where they're placing it as part of their business plans. This matter was, there needed a variance because of the number of parking spaces. That was approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. That's not on the table tonight for you to review or to approve. You're just looking at the zoning map, but just want to make sure that you're aware of that as part of the discussion moving forward with this. So this did go before the Planning Commission and before the Livingston County Zoning Board of Appeals. I did attach the minutes to the report in regards to these. At all these meetings, there was 2 Zoning Board of Appeals meetings, 1 Planning Commission meeting. The discussion points at these generally centered on the proposed site location in regards to this. There was a lot of discussion, due diligence taking place in this, and they looked at multiple sites in the Sonneman. And then ultimately, Dollar General with their business plans chose the site as this being the option that they're wanting to pursue. So that's what we're having here. The conversation and the discussions at all the meetings kind of revolved into some safety concerns of people living in Sonneman who may be walking or bicycling from Sonneman going out to the store. And there was concerns about safety issues in that, number one, they'd have to be crossing the 2 highway intersection of Route 47 and 116. And then secondly, to get from point A, Sonneman, or basically where the sidewalk ends near the gas station, to this new proposed facility, there is no sidewalk, so they'd be walking along or bicycling along the side of the road along 116 in order to get there. So that was an issue with that. At the Planning Commission meeting, they decided not to make any recommendation in regards to this because of the safety concerns that were there, and there was not enough time to go ahead and study it and instead of bringing it back. So it moved on to the Zoning Board of Appeals case. At the Zoning Board of Appeals, in their first hearing, the safety issues came back up before them, and they tabled it, giving the consulting group, Farnsworth Group, some time to contact IDOT to look into the matter as far as safety and see if there's anything that IDOT could do in regards to the safety issues that could do with that. And they reported back at the next meeting that that issue is not a priority for them either. At both the meetings, and particularly at the Zoning Board of Appeals meetings, there was a discussion about the different sites that could possibly take place, and there was a lot of discussions of possibly having to go in Sonneman and then being here. The village had did participate in the meetings. John Vitson did come and comment at one of the meetings, also gave his opinion in regard to them. The village is basically aware of it, but they are aware that they are acceptable of having Dollar General go with the site, just because the business is more acceptable having it in the area than not having the business in the particular area. The Zoning Board of Appeals, after doing all the hearings in regards to that, did make the decision to make a recommendation to the county board that this particular zoning case be approved as it is being presented. And also at that meeting, one of the Zoning Board of Appeals members, Richard Runnan, who is the village president of the village of Chatsworth, had noted that he personally has noticed very little foot traffic that goes to the Chatsworth Dollar General, so he just kind of made that comment in regards to that. So they didn't make that recommendation to you. That's all I have for right now.
We also have Paul Brown here, representing Dollar General. Paul, do you have anything to add or here to answer field questions or?
Thank you. I won't take up much of your time. The discussion last night centered around two things, one being the safety issues, which I can address briefly, the other being, why we're at this location. We did work with the Village of Sonneman, or Dollar General did work with the Village of Sonneman, and they did do their due diligence. In the course of this, which started almost a year ago, they looked at 5 different sites prior to selecting this one, and either the situation was such that those properties were not for sale or that the seller and Dollar General could not come into agreement. There was one site located east of the intersection on the south side of the road where there were some environmental concerns, and so they passed on that and they ended up at this site. They did approach the owner on the northeast quadrant of that intersection and on the southwest quadrant of that intersection, and they were not interested in selling. When we talk about this in proximity to the intersection, there is a creek. If you live in that area, you know there's a creek that runs parallel to 47 on the west side of the road, and there is a FEMA designated flood zone through there. Our store is located, the entrance to the store would be about 750 feet to the west of the intersection. So this isn't sitting right at the intersection, it's a fair distance away. The questions as far as safety, there was a lot of discussion at the Planning Commission meeting and at the zoning meeting about the possibility of a sidewalk. The situation is such that this is not a normal right-of-way because of that flood zone. I mean, literally, to have a sidewalk, you would either have to have a sidewalk right on the bridge, which would be on the road shoulder, or you would have to construct some sort of a bridge to go over the flood zone, and the cost of that would be cost prohibitive for this project to continue at this site. The other thing with the sidewalk in this location, right now the sidewalk stops at the gas station. There's no pedestrian crossing over 47. There's no pedestrian crossing over 116. IDOT has not expressed an interest in putting in such a crossing. Based on last night's meetings, I spoke with our client, and he's actually reached out to IDOT this morning and asked them if they would be willing to actually post no pedestrian crossing signs at that intersection to discourage people from walking down the road. Now, with COVID and this being the state, we don't have an answer yet, but that request has been made, so they're again trying to address that. One of the concerns we actually have within putting in a sidewalk is, we're talking about not having people walking down the road, and yet if we put in a sidewalk, we're encouraging just that. So by not having a sidewalk, I think it would actually serve to discourage people from walking down the road. Could someone walk down the road? I suppose, but that's not the plan. I mean, we would expect most of our traffic to be vehicle. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, I can let you get on with your discussion.
Madam Chair and fellow members of the County Board, if you would allow me some latitude, many of you might have seen Mayor Bradford had sent an email out this morning to let us know. So we have invited him to tonight's meeting. Going to give him an opportunity to stand up and talk about the steps and the actions that him as the mayor and the village board have taken in this offer. So please, Bob.
Thank you for giving me your time on your agenda for tonight. As I said in the email today that Elena forwarded out to you, is that we have some reservations regarding security issues associated with that. However, we do feel that it would be in the best interest of the village to have that store put in at that location. It could create some extra jobs, of which we're always looking for. And we don't get an opportunity very often in the village of Sonneman to have a store come in like this. The last one that came in was the gas station, and that's been 15 years ago, I believe. So I would like your support tonight in proving this going forward to put Dollar General in at that location. And I'll entertain any questions at this point if you have them.
And before we start questions here, I just want to remind the board that this is just going to be a motion and a second to change the zoning classification from agriculture to commercial. So with that, we will open it up for any questions or concerns.
I got a question.
Joel, how do you say? Oh, Weller?
Bob, you said you had some security concerns?
I'm sorry, safety concerns, I should have said.
Safety
Excuse me.
concerns,
Bad
okay.
choice of words, thank you.
Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I think John has a hand up.
I don't know if my question is for you or Chuck. If we pass this, it's my understanding Dollar General does not own any of their stores. So who's asking for the special use permit?
I defer that to Paul.
And I guess I don't know why their name hasn't ever come up. Because I do know they don't own it, because they talked to me about buying property and it was not Dollar General.
Dollar General is, they do not want to be in the real estate business. And so how this works is they have a handful of developers across the United States that they work with. So Dollar General will look at an area and they'll say, okay, we want to have a store in the Sonneman area. And then they will work with our client, who is Overland Group. And there's a number of these developers like Overland Group. Overland Group happens to be I think one of the largest ones that works for Dollar General. Overland will seek out a specific property. They will go through this process. We're here representing them tonight. They'll go through this process if there's zoning or building permits or the regulatory process, entrance permits with the road, which, by the way, I mentioned that's about wrapped up with them for IDOT approving the entrance. And so and then Dollar General also will construct the store. They will work with the contractor to get the store built. Once that's built, Dollar General will either lease the property back to, Overland will lease the property back to Dollar General, or in some cases, the property gets sold to a real estate management company that will then lease back to Dollar General. And that's simply because Dollar General doesn't want to be in the facility management business. They want to be in the selling stuff business.
So then the special use permit does not go to Dollar General, it goes to a leasing company.
It would go to Overland Group.
Okay.
And that's who the applicant is.
Okay. So does Dollar General look at are they aware of the safety concerns that different people have had?
Dollar General they see, as these plans are developed, they are involved in all of that. So yes, they know this process.
That answered my question.
I'd just like to add quickly, this is a common practice. I know for a fact that Walgreens also does not own their real estate for the most part, and it's common practice across the country.
Bob?
I agree that is common practice. The only thing and I'm not saying I'm against this because I think it's a good idea and I would like to move forward with it, but should the possibility exist that Dollar General does not succeed there, then we're going to end up with possibly a developed lot with a building on it that could sit empty for years, and we don't have to go too far to see some of them around here. When these developing companies go out and do these real estate deals, is there any contingencies built into those plans to reclaim that land? And if we wanted to reclaim that land as farm ground, are they responsible to tear that place down?
I'll take the first shot at it. I mean, when you're rezoning the property from ag to commercial, you're doing it in that property will be zoned commercial until at some point or another, somebody comes back and says, well, we don't want that. If it's abandoned, we don't want it commercial anymore because you don't know what's going to go in there commercially. There could be an applicant, it could be the county board actually, could come back in and say, okay, we want the zoning changed back from commercial to agricultural to make it work that way. But as far as you're concerned, I mean, if it's a vacant building, it becomes a vacant building, be handled like anything else. So I don't know as far as a contract with the ownership of the property and if they have any obligations to go back with it, but we cannot make that a stipulation of this.
But how could we go back and make it a zone it agricultural if there's a commercial building sitting on it?
Well, I mean, it's a building, so is there agricultural uses or businesses that could go into that building? I mean, could you put a farm supply company in, or an equipment company with parts in there? Could you put a seed company in there? I mean, there's agricultural buildings that could use that building.
Okay.
Joel?
Kind of tagging on to that, I think it's important to note what has been stated in that, we're not here to choose what business goes on this lot. We are here to decide whether or not this zoning gets changed from agricultural to commercial. And it's not the role of the county board to pick and choose which businesses and what happens afterwards. We are here to identify that this is a significant intersection of two major highways, two-lane highways, and that it is a likely spot for future commercial development. And I think this is a first step, and that Dollar General may likely be the first of maybe multiple that might go in this area, and I think that's what we're here to decide. And the Village of Sonneman is fortunate enough to be right by this major intersection, and that's what we're deciding here, not what business specifically goes there.
Any other questions, John? Joe? Joe Station?
Yeah, I had a question for Bob, if he's still at the microphone.
He can be. Go ahead.
I read your email there today, Bob, and you had mentioned, using that to attract more businesses in that area, kind of like what Joel just talked about. How big of an area are we talking about? Are you zoning or wanting to rezone an area or just a specific plot for Dollar General?
I've got to defer that back to Paul about the size of the lot and so forth. He's got those kinds of details.
Our zoning application specifically is for this 1.5 acre parcel. That's in part because the surrounding landowner is the seller. This is a chunk out of their property, and again, that's because further to the east is the flood zone. So we're not asking for any more, and I don't believe at this time they're interested in having any more of that property rezoned to commercial than, what we're looking to rezone commercial. Now, if there's interested parties in the future that would like to look at that area to add into, I'm sure that they would have no problem, proceeding with that. But there's no sense in zoning something commercial that doesn't have that imminent use. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, as long as you told me the size of the lot you were talking about, and I didn't
Correct.
know what the
Yep.
council was going to get involved with that and look for like future development. That was my only question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Questions, concerns? We currently do not have a motion. Looking for that as well.
I'll make a motion, we change the zoning.
It's been moved by Wilkie, seconded by Weller, to change the zoning from agriculture to commercial. More discussion? Roll call.
Vietti,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Kirkton,
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Pass? Okay. Merrickman,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Steichen,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Menninga,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
Weller. Yes. Carly,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
No.
Airing,
No.
Fidstem,
No.
Blackard,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
and Manker again. She's passed. So. Did she say yes?
She also gave a thumbs up. I don't know if that counts or not, but
Oh, no, I didn't see that, but I thought she said. Okay. Yep, thank you.
okay. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody, from citizens of Sonneman, for showing up. Thank you, Paul. Moving on to the next one, review case SF 4-20, Slagle, pertaining to proposed 2-lot subdivision in Section 5 of Forest Township. Any questions? Chuck is at the mic. For anybody that knows, it's right there at the curve between Forest and Fairbury on Route 24 on the east side of the road, if I'm correct, northeast side of the road. Questions, concerns? Motion? Oh, Linda?
What Slagle property is this? I got the plat book out, but I couldn't tell right there.
Logan Sligle's involved in it, and Louis John, and
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Got it. Got it.
So Linda, does it matter which Sligo here? Is that what you're saying?
I just looked at the plat book last night, John, and I couldn't figure it
It's
out.
you, John.
There's one or two down in that area, correct, John? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Been moved by Lovell. Is there a second?
Second by Kirkton.
Seconded by Kirkton. Discussion. Roll call.
Fieri. Yes. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Meninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Yes.
Arbogast. Weller. Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
And Runyon.
Yes.
Very well. Moving on to our last action item, a review of the final update of the Livingston County Multi-Jurisdictional All-Hazard Mitigation Plan, something that has been in the works for over a year now. Made it through COVID, got it all taken care of, and it is available on the website if you'd like to see it. And Chuck is here to answer any questions that you may have. A huge work in progress, but made it through and here for presentation. Motion to approve. Been moved by Wilkie. Is there a second? Seconded by Fannin. Discussion? Roll call, please, Christie.
Fieri. Yes. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Meninga.
Yes.
Kestner. Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
That is all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And now we will flip back over to the front side of the agenda, and we will ask Mr. Lovell for his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the highway meeting last night, we've got 5 resolutions that we went through and all approved to bring to the board tonight. Item A is a resolution appropriating MFT funds for 2021 county highway general maintenance. Item B is appropriating MFT funds for the 2021 county engineer's salary as established by IDOT. Item C is a local share agreement for federal participation for replacement of a structure in Nebraska Township. Item D is a local share agreement for federal participation, federal aid agreement for replacement of a structure in Esmond Road District. And item E is the quarterly report for the 4th quarter of fiscal 20. They're all in there, and Clay's also online, so if we've got any questions, Clay can answer them. So, any questions?
Clay, I should know this as being Highway Committee Chair 2 years ago, but the federal aid one, is that because it's between 2 townships other than county aid? The item D is federal aid. What's the difference?
The federal aid is the portion that the state gets of federal money that's allocated to each county, and we can use that for county highway bridges or township bridges. They have to be over 20 feet long existing before we can utilize that funding. And we get an appropriation each year for the entire county for that purpose. And it's an 80-20 program, so 80% of the construction is funded by the federal dollars. This agreement is with the state and has quite a few stipulations to allow us to use that money.
Thank you.
Well,
Have we got any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Are we assured that we're gonna get the motor fuel tax money?
To my knowledge, there hasn't been really any questions about it. There was that lockbox amendment a few years ago. Motor fuel tax has been coming in steadily and not really seeing too much of a decrease as what we could have expected with COVID. We had a minor reduction in just the amount of fuel sales in 1 or 2 months there early on, but it's been otherwise almost back to normal.
If the state of Illinois decides to utilize the text in that Amendment 9 that you just referred to, and we don't get our motor fuel tax money, if they hold that back, what's that gonna mean for us in 2021?
It would be on to plan B or C or D. We just have, currently we have enough to carry us through in a balance through the end of 2021. So it would affect 2022's decisions at that point.
Okay, all right, thanks, Clay.
You're welcome.
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve these 5 items.
Second.
Who's second? Joel? Or Carly? Okay, Carly. Carly second. Roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
And Runyon.
Yes.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report from the Highway Department. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Steve. Now we'll move on down to Finance Committee. Glad to have you here, Tim. I hope you're feeling better. Go ahead with your...
Thank you very much. First, items A and B are every December items that we have. First one being resolution, State's Attorney Appellate Prosecutor for the sum of $18,000 if we get into a jam or conflict of interest with our own state's attorney, or if he needs appellate help, needs some additional attorney help for all that sum, we get the resources of the Illinois Attorney General's office and their staff. It's something we've done, I can't remember not doing this, so I'd motion that we approve this.
Second by Fannin.
Okay.
Second by Fannin.
Second by Fannin. Roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle. Slagle. Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes, and could I ask a question after the roll is completed?
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mr. Weller, you have the...
Randy, I hate to put you on the spot. This is always a very fair deal that we get when we do this every year, but I was just curious, as to, have they raised this recently at all or not?
They did. So last year was the first year in quite some time that they raised it. It's based on population.
Yeah.
And we had paid $15,000 a year for quite some time. They raised it to $18,000, just based on rising costs of litigation, things of that nature.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Second, our hazard policy comes due for the county this time of year. That's a matter for the tort fund. Tort fund doesn't have the money, so we need to transfer some money to that. That money will come around to that fund in January, but temporarily we do have to loan it some money. So I would motion that we in fact do that.
Second by Fannin.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Airing.
Yes.
Fitzstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Thank you. Those echoes count as 2 votes. Last item, Nikki, there were 3 separate Livingston County parcels that were purchased, and that she's asking resolution to authorize the transfer of the deeds. I would motion that we in fact do that.
Second by Vieti. Okay. Roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Ritter. Oops, I forgot Weller.
Yes.
Skipped over. Sorry. Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Fitzstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
How could you miss him, Christie?
Thanks, Madam Chair. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Now we'll move down to Sheriff Jail License, Mr. Carly.
We have one action item. It's a mobile home license amendment for Carriage Lane Estates. I think there's been a change of management, and so we have to do this. Lena, would you like to expand on that?
That's pretty much it.
I think you covered it just fine. Every time there's a management change, they need to go through appropriate background checks. And so those have not come back yet. So this will be pending final attorney review and approval, if you would. But otherwise, it's pretty standard.
I'll make a motion to.
I'll second.
Okay, Vieti second. Okay.
Who seconded?
Vieti. And roll call, please.
Vieti.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Yes.
Arbogast. Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Airing.
Yes.
Fitzstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carly.
You're welcome.
Yesterday, we did all of our committees all in one day. If any other committee chair would like to report on their committees, you can do so now. If not, we'll move down to public comment.
I would just like to remind the members that you've got your per diem sheets in front of you. If there's any corrections or changes or additions, let me know before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, please.
Okay.
Checks will be mailed out next Thursday unless you notify me, and we'll hold it. We'll hold it, maybe we'll spend it too, huh?
We need it, Christmas.
Yeah, and buy nice presents, so, anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you, Christy. Anyone else? And no one on Zoom? Okay. Before we go into executive session, I would like to ask everyone to excuse themselves down to the lower level, please. We are not allowed, due to COVID, to go into our committee room, so we would like to have everyone in the seating area back there to move down to the lower level. And John, thank you. So I need a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C2, collective negotiating matters.
Bunting will second.
Ambrose? Bunting second, okay. We'll go with Ambrose, I guess.
What? Ambrose, okay.
We need a roll call, please.
Beatty? Yes. Bunning?
Yes.
Kirkton?
Yes.
Manker?
Yes.
Berkman?
Yes.
Slagle? Yes. Fannin? Fannin?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Steichen? Yes. Schaefer? Menninga?
Yes.
Kestner? Yes. Welch?
Yes.
Arbogast? Yes. Weller?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Herring?
Yes.
Fitstem?
Yes.
Blackard?
Yes.
Wilkie?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
And you want me to leave Gina, or Ginger in here too?
I
On
am.
Zoom?
You're on Zoom too.
Oh, I'm on Zoom also.
approve it pending ratification.
So you want the
Final-
motion to be pending
Final attorney review
final
and
attorney review
approval and ratification of the,
and ratification? Okay.
What she said.
We good?
are we good?
Make a motion that we accept the proposal pending attorney review and ratification of the Correctional Officers Union contract.
Okay, second by Wilkie. Okay, roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Well. Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller. Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
I'm going to vote present.
Airing.
Yes.
Fitstum. Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie. And Runyon.
Yes.
Okay, before we close, I would just like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year, and hope that 2021 is a better year. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Motion to adjourn.
by Marty,
Second.
by Kirkton. Roll call, please.
Vieti. Bunning.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Absolutely.
Slagle.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer. Menninga.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Arbogast. Weller.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Airing.
Yes.
Fitstum. Blackard. Wilkie. Runyon.
Yes, and Merry Christmas.